All right, man. Listen, man, ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only. Y'all give it up and show y'all love for a man who really needs no introduction with the National Action Network. Reverend Al Sharpton. Y'all give it up for Reverend Al. Reverend Al, good morning.
Good morning, Rickey.
Yes, sir.
Man, Reverend Al, I know you're busy, and I just, again, I'm going to thank you every time. I know you're tired of me saying thank you for stopping what you're doing to come on the show with us. We really appreciate your support and everything that you do in the community.
Well, we love and support you, and you're not talking to the community if you're not on with Rickey Smiley, so let's be serious.
I know that's right, man. Well, first, everything that you've done, and standing there with the Floyd family, first of all, how's the family holding up as they prepare for George's funeral in Houston today?
Well, they're strong. I mean, in all the years I've been out here, I have not met a stronger family. But, of course, they're saddened. This is the last day they will be able to review his remains, and they will prepare to put him to rest for a senseless and vicious murder. It's bad enough to say goodbye to a loved one under normal and natural circumstances, but to look at him in that casket, and that's your brother, that's your nephew, your uncle, your father, and know he's there because a man put his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds that should have been there to protect him. It has to be triple burdensome and painful for them. And we're going to try to be their support system today. I'll do the eulogy today, but also give meaning that he didn't die in vain, that this is going to lead to real concrete change, and this family's committed to being in the long run to make sure not only these police are held accountable, but policing changes in this country.
Right. Reverend Al, can you share anything about the meeting with Joe Biden with the Floyd family on yesterday in Houston?
Yes, he met over an hour, and just about all the family was there. He shared his compassion and condolences. But he also talked about police legislation. The family wanted to know, was he supporting the legislation the Congressional Black Caucus was unveiling yesterday? Congressman Cedric Richmond, who had been a chair of the caucus and is still a member, was in the meeting as vice chair of the Biden campaign. And we talked about ending the no-knock law. We talked about having policemen's records transparent. If they had accusations or allegations or charges before, it should be made public. We talked about residency requirements. And Biden committed to a lot of substantive things that was already in his criminal justice plan that was part of what he called Lift Every Voice, his plan for Black America. So it was not only a meeting of condolences, which was appropriate on the day before the funeral, but it was on substantive change. And he said to them that he was not coming to the funeral because if he came, they would have to wand everybody or put them through metal detectors with the Secret Service, and he didn't want to disrupt the services.
Right.
Which they said, no, we understand that, which is also why President Obama and others did not opt to come, because you must understand when a president or even a former president comes, it disrupts everything, including, especially during the coronavirus time.
Right.
And it was a fruitful meeting, and I thought it was uplifting to the family.
All right, y'all, we got Reverend Al on 17 minutes after the hour, y'all. We're going to be talking about defunding the police. Coming up, more Reverend Al Sharpton. Up next, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. All right, y'all, 24 minutes after the hour, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. We got the one and only Reverend Al Sharpton on this morning. Reverend Al be in there in like a lightning rod. But I really appreciate you taking a stand. And I honestly don't see how you do it. I'm glad to have you on this morning. Brett, you were talking during the break.
Yeah, I was. How you doing, Reverend Al?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. So tomorrow is George Floyd's brother. His brother Phil is going to testify before Congress at a hearing on law enforcement reform. What do you expect to come from this hearing?
Well, Phalonis is testifying to really bring about legislation that will deal with the things we were talking about in terms of ending the confidentiality of a policeman's record if he's been having a pattern of abuse, residency requirements, ending the no-knock law. It was a no-knock law where police could just bust in that caused the killing in Louisville, Kentucky of young Sister Taylor, whose family, some of their family members are here at the site for the funeral today here in Houston. And from the Arbery families here and Trayvon Martin's family, all of the families here. But we want legislation. A lot of the demonstrations, the rallies and all that we've engaged in now and down through the years must lead demonstration and legislation, so we change the laws. And that's why he is going before this Congress tomorrow to be part of the record of why we need this legislation passed.
Hey, Reverend Al, now this is bothering me right here. In Florida, if a police officer get fired, another police department can hire him, and I think that should be a part of it, because if a police officer get fired for misconduct, why should he be able to go to another police department in another county and get hired? That don't make any sense.
Right. Well, that's exactly right, and that's part of the legislation with what the Congressional Black Caucus came out with. If a lawyer is disbarred, a lawyer can't practice anywhere else. If a policeman is fired, he shouldn't be able, or she shouldn't be able to practice anywhere else.
Right. Wow. So Reverend, did y'all have now today? Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have a question about the march you talked about last time you were on. You were saying that there will be a march in Washington coming up soon. Can you give us more details about that?
August 28th, which is the 57th anniversary of the famous march on Washington where Dr. King did I Have a Dream. His son, Martin Luther King III, and I are going to lead a march around police reform and accountability called Get Your Knee Off My Neck. It will be August 28th, a Friday, 12 noon. We'll be releasing the location within the next week. But we want people from around the country to keep marching, keep rallying, but have the culmination August 28th, where we connect, where the reason Dr. King fought against Jim Crow at that march, 57 years later, we have to fight against Jim Crow policing in the 21st century. And we want people of all races to be there with us.
Right. Now go ahead, King.
Yeah, let me jump in as comedian Special K, Reverend now. I wanted to say today is Election Day in Georgia, Nevada, North Dakota, South Carolina, and West Virginia. Reverend Al, can you let the people know how important it is that for these type of local elections to the community?
Very important, because, see, if we're concerned about policing and criminal justice, they are usually decided and administered by those local elections, those people that are on your city council, the board of aldermen, your mayors. That's who appoints the police chiefs. That's who elects the police chiefs in some cities. So these elections today are very important. If you are marching and rallying, saying no justice, no peace, or Black Lives Matter, and don't have yourself voting, then you're just talking loud and saying nothing. You got to do both. And if you got to choose one, vote, because that's the people that's going to make the decision.
Right. Hey, Reverend Al, let everybody know that's listening to the show how they can follow you on Twitter and Instagram.
They can follow me at nationalactionnetwork.net or The Rev Al on Instagram and Twitter. So I'm all over. I hang out with Rickey Smiley, so I got my social media game down tight.
Hey, Reverend Al, I saw that green jacket. I saw that little green jacket you had on. You was looking sharp standing up there next to Joe Biden. I saw you on MSNBC. I said, look at Reverend
Al. Well, I got to keep up the family look. You know, I don't want to embarrass you there, Rick.
That's right. All right, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for the one and only Reverend Al Sharpton. Love you, Reverend Al.
Yes.
Love you.